So this is actually quite amazing, really, getting into this now, particularly at this time when all these, this current situation. These are the 10 Commandments, but a website that's got a very, very good or close interpretation, not just like a slack interpretation of them, like the actual word for word. And I want to do another video on going through all of them. But this is due to Starmer saying that he wants to make assisted suicide lawful when, it does go against the 10 Commandments. And we can explain why in detail. But this particular video, I just want to mention this fourth one because it's something that has actually been relevant and something that I've talked about and complained about. I actually complained to the House of Lords a few times. One of the Liberal Democrat members of the House of Lords, he was wanting to try and scrap the Protestant religion, even though it's entrenched in British law, which it's not easy to do. And I complained about him, or to him, and I complained to Archbishop of Canterbury as well. And part of that was, part of my complaint was that, don't want to get rid of these religions and so forth. Yet, already I'm getting upset, distressed and annoyed with what they're doing to daily life, to the amount of traffic on the roads and the frequency of it, even like actually starting to be all through the night now. And their solution, the government solution is, well, get soundproofing fit on your house. That's more money to spend. Never mind insulation, next soundproofing. Then you can't hear any noise all the daytime, through the daytime. But then you don't like your nature. I know some people will live in an urban city and there is no nature, but not everyone lives in a city. And, you've got noises, sounds, you like to know what's going on outside, but not constant drone of traffic. Like to know what's going outside when you need to know, because there is a noise, or just like nature, the sounds of natural things, that's why I get annoyed with the planes at the moment. And then I was thinking about Sunday. Sunday's meant to be when it's quiet and you rest, but most people now do things on Sunday, like go on holiday because that's the day they're not working, go to the seaside or go to the Lake District, or if they can't afford to do that, just go to the local park or whatever. But a lot of people don't even have a day of rest. They don't have a Sunday. They might just work 24/7 or 7 days a week, or they might work 2 weeks on and then have a week off. But now, this is when we start to... Why is it important, though? Because the thing is, right... But, if you think, well, everyone... if everyone has a day when they rest, does it have to be the Sunday, right? Why the Sunday? Like if someone works for Amazon driver, then, their day off might be Monday and then work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Their Sunday might be Monday. Now, the model of skewed days of rest is that you don't really have a day of rest, because if you are working shifts or whatsoever, and if, your day of rest is a Wednesday, then other people are going to be working, and then it's still going to be noisy around where you live, right? So if everyone had skewed days of rest, they seriously, I don't think they were retarded when Caesar took over Gaul with an army. They weren't, ancestors weren't retarded back then. We must have credited them for some intelligence in calculating something, whether it's Pythagoras or not. And I know that in the last video that I made, I was going on about, the main commandment being thou shalt not kill. But what I meant to say is it's like the most well-known, it's the most well-remembered, the most... If you asked, blankety blank, if you did a survey of 100 people and asked them to give you one of the 10 commandments, it would probably be that one that they said. That's what I meant. I didn't actually mean specifically it's the first one. Although if you split them into two sheets, it's the top of the second sheet. But anyway, I'm not going to apologise for that because, it's the most well-known one anyway, right? And I admitted that, it's from what I'd learned. So it's what I remembered. So, yeah, I mean, they worked that out. I think that was the deal with the Ten Commandments, thousands of years ago. I think they'd worked that out. Why have the Sunday for the day of rest? Why doesn't it say every man shall keep one day for their day of rest? Well, I think they worked out, even though there was no aeroplanes, even though there was no skyscrapers, even though there was no, delivery people as they are now, even then, they had some kind of, ancient Greece and so forth, Egypt, whatever. Even they'd worked out even then that it's not the best model to have skewed day of rest, because then no one gets any rest because it's still noisy when you're resting, right? That's kind of like the idea. Now that is a major obstruction to people like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, because it's business as usual. They're there to make money. They're not there to respect your Jewish religion or Ten Commandments. Like, they've got billions to make. These people have got business to run. Jeff Bezos, doesn't, if his Deliveroo driver needs a wee, then he'll have to wee in a cup. If his Deliveroo driver wants to just bob into, it's convenient for him, there's that shop there, I'm just going past end of that road. You know what, it'd save a lot of time and money on fuel and carbon footprint if I just nip there now. I don't think Jeff would mind, then suddenly, beep, 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 oh, he's on the GPS tracking now. This is Jeff Bezos at Headquarters Command, Agent 7394. Why have you deviated from your route? This is the authority. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. I just, I won't mind going to the aquarium there. I just thought, no, you're going to set the whole delivery schedule off, and the delivery schedule of Jeff Bezos can never be late by 5 seconds, So, even though it would have been convenient for everyone, taking everyone into account, convenient for everyone, it doesn't work like that with Bezos and Gates. Their future worlds cannot accommodate for that. It must be China. It must be Agent 347 will deliver the item at 6:47 and 52 seconds. Or your social points will be reduced, and you won't be allowed to go out at the weekend anyway, rather than making it convenient, for everyone. It's business, and then obviously, if there's no need for you because you've been executed because you didn't follow commands, then, the machine's going to do it anyway. And machines don't have a will. Machines don't have a weekend. Machines don't have an aquarium to go buy some goldfish with a kid in, because they don't have any kids. Android, unless they're trying to pretend to be human, androids don't have a weekend to go out in the Lake District, because robots don't need a Sunday day of rest. And I think this is the whole deal with how religion gets in the way of the empire, the Gates Foundation, the Tesla, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, no rest for the social media. Religion's bad for business. Religion's very bad for business, and religion's bad for company policy more than anything. Even though McDonald's slyly started to welcome more Muslims and more Sikhs and more Islamic people into McDonald's, you can wear your religious clothing while you're slaving away for us all day making flipping burgers. We don't mind you wearing a burqa while you're flipping a burger. We don't mind you wearing, whatever Jewish. I apologise for not knowing the name of what the Jewish hat's called off the top of my head. I should know that. Welcome to McDonald's. If you've got a certain religious, we can accommodate for that. Come in. We welcome all slightly quirky, peculiar religious clothing in McDonald's, as long as you flip burgers and do what we say. And then by the time we finish with you, fast forward, 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 months, 5 years, 10 years. When your kids are working here, they'll all be speaking perfect English, like Sadiq Khan, and you will be recognisable. You won't have a religion anymore, because really, we're trying to get rid of those. Can you remember those days when the staff used to come in with their burqas on? We used to let them wear their burqas, and now, they speak perfect English, and they don't have a religion anymore. They work religiously for us, though, until we don't need them anymore, because we can get the robots in and dispose of them all, at the back of the titty twister. This is the thing. So, I don't think religions are good for business, except you've got these, the Pope and his weird Italian mafia, and Putin and his, I don't even know what religion Putin's got. I think he's just pretending to be Christian. I don't think he takes it seriously. But, but for the Jewish religion, you would have thought, this is the fourth commandment for the Sunday, right? Now, why am I even making this video and talking for 10 minutes? What's the point? Well, the point's this, right? A number of years ago, right, places didn't open on a Sunday. People used to fine them if they opened on a Sunday, like they even still in the 1920s when they had these common informers, people used to, even though we didn't do, jobs that the police, jobs even too dastardly for the police to do, like prosecute a cinema for opening on a Sunday or whatever when it's not supposed to, we've got citizens who dob and grass on people, they weren't supposed to do that. But obviously I can't remember if it was John Major or Tony Blair or Thatcher. I'll have to have a look, but it's one of it has to be one. It either has to be Thatcher, Major, or Blair. I should know actually. I should know this. Right, so it was John Major. I knew it was either Thatcher, John Major, or Tony Blair, but it was John Major. So it was the guy with a military name, one of Prince Philip's favourites. So it was John Major. 1994 it was. So I would have been like, teenager at that point. But I definitely remember when they had Sunday. And then this is when they kind of like had all these films going out from Hollywood and Universal Studios, like, Back to the Future, Down at the Shopping Mall, and trying to encourage more of this retail park lifestyle, and upping the production. Also, by the way, while I paused it, then I had a look to see what the Jewish hat's called. It's called a kippah, or you can call it a yamulke, yamaka, bullcap, or a koppel. It's got various names, but I think the main one is kippah. That's what it's called. Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. Ha, that's quite funny, ain't it? Smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. So, I didn't know that. I never associated that joke with the Jewish hat, because they have it on Red Dwarf, don't they? They have it on Red Dwarf, when they've got Ace McLeod or whatever it's called. It's like a rimmer, but he's like a fighter pilot instead of a smeghead. And he goes, his line is, smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast. But you could call it a Jewish hat. Hey, we could have do that about the COVID, couldn't we? Like with the COVID mask, smoke me a COVID mask, I'll be back for breakfast. That could be Boris Johnson's saying. Johnson said the other day that he wished that he hadn't apologised for all that Partygate and so forth, because COVID was a scam. But they were running the scam. So surely he should have apologised for running a scam, And I think that he's just got a salty shoulder because he ended up in hospital, and yet he had to self-sacrifice for the cause of his fellow colleagues, Smoke me a COVID mask, I'll be back for breakfast. Johnson could have done that, Wouldn't it have been an amazing little video clip of, when those clips of Boris Johnson when he was in hospital ill, if he'd have just lifted his head up and said, smoke me a COVID mask, I'll be back for breakfast. So just a little joke in there. So yeah, I mean, so it's called a kipper. Smoke me a kipper for breakfast. Interesting. So the Jewish religion on a Sunday, yeah, I mean, it's a John Major. Now, this is the thing, right? Now, this is like 15 minutes. We've been going 15 minutes now, right? 15 minutes in. And the point is, Keir Starmer. So, Jeremy Corbyn, because he'd been speaking and holding opinions as a politician and leader of a party, because he'd been saying things that apparently were in opposition to Jewish people or having opinions that weren't necessarily favourable to Jewish people, or even against them, this is what the accusation is, his party proceeded to remove him as leader, right? But he's still been a politician since, right? He's got a very strong following in Islington North, I think it is, or South, Islington anyway. Corbyn's still a politician and his electors have not let him down. He's still holding a strong place in Parliament, but he no longer leads the Labour Party. Instead, this Keir Starmer, who I'd never heard of at the time of Corbyn, I don't even know who Starmer was, I'd never even heard of his existence, right? He became prominent in the Labour Party and took over from Starmer, from Corbyn. Starmer took over from Corbyn, right? My personal opinion is that Prince Philip had a like in his will, not like written in his will in writing, but his like unofficial will, right? I don't think that Prince Philip liked Jeremy Corbyn. I think that he, like, you know, over my dead body, he will be Prime Minister of England. I just don't think that Prince Philip wanted Jeremy Corbyn to be the Prime Minister of England, that, you know, you shall never be the Prime Minister of England. That's my belief. And, you know, it happened. I don't think they wanted to allow him to become the Prime Minister. Or you might say, well, how has he managed to hold a long-term position as an MP? He's one of the longest-standing MPs in Parliament. True. And he got to the top of his party. True. But, you know, you've got to make it look like that, you know, you're fair and equal opportunities and so forth. And they also say, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. So, and also where there's a will, there's a way. So I think it was a bit of Corbyn just being a very, very strong-willed person, but also like to keep an eye on Corbyn as well and keep him close in Parliament. But I don't think that Prince Philip wanted him to be allowed to be the Prime Minister of England. I think they got Keir Starmer lined up for that job, and I think that it was a move. They used anti-Semitism, which is the act of being in opposition or you know, against or with a dislike or whatever to the Jewish religion. But the Jewish culture is the Jewish religion. The Jewish religion is the Jewish culture. You can't have a Jewish culture that does not encompass and embody the Jewish religion. And you can't have the Jewish religion because it's part of the culture, the customs, the way you move your hand, the prayers. The Jewish culture of the rabbis is the religion, right? So it's inseparable. The Jewish religion is inseparable from the Jewish culture because the Jewish culture encompasses and facilitates their wise men as the rabbis who orchestrate the social order of the Jews, right? Because I've delivered to them in Manchester and I know what I'm talking about because I used to see them every week and talk to them and even take money from them. Not like you know, not take money, but like, you know, I'd collect money from them for work and stuff and so forth. So I know about Jewish people. So, you know, and so the Jewish religion is Jewish culture is Jewish religion. That is a fact that cannot be denied. So, so this Sunday thing, so the Ten Commandments are the core of the Jewish religion. In fact, if they'd never had them, we wouldn't have had Sunday the day of rest in England ever. It wouldn't have existed, and the Pope Francis would not have Sunday as a holy day, right? It comes from the First Testament and the first religion. The subsequent Jesus and the whole Christian religion in Rome, and even under King Charles, under the Archbishop of Canterbury, Protestant religions, which is entrenched in English law and through Magna Carta, would not exist in law if it hadn't been for the Ten Commandments of God. It wouldn't even we wouldn't even have had it anyway, right? Well, we don't have it now because they removed Sunday, but this is what I'm going to get to, right? Now, the thing is, right, that Starmer, because the politician Jeremy Corbyn, who speaks with the privilege of Parliament in political matters inside and outside of Parliament, he's got political privileges of Parliament in his verbal engagement both inside and outside of Parliament for matters of church, state and law, right? He was removed from his party and replaced with Keir Starmer for apparently saying things that weren't favourable to the Jews. Saying things, having opinions. A mere opinion which is not in line with the Jewish religion or so forth. Now, this is the thing, right? We're not talking about opinions, and opinions, right? His replacement, Sir Keir Starmer, whose wife is a Jew, right? A Jewish religion. She is a Jew, right? Now, I thought, that's interesting. No wonder Corbyn was, no wonder Starmer's not too keen on Corbyn. If his wife's Jewish, if Corbyn's been, disreputing Jewish people, right? So, Starmer now, right, he's proposing to make a law, because he's got the privilege to do that in matters of church, state and law for matters inside and out of Parliament, because that's the point of being an MP, like Corbyn, right? Starmer wants to actually, he's not just his opinion or saying that, maybe we should help people die or kill them, he's going to actually do it, change the law so people can do it, right? Now, that's not just an opinion. He's going to have an action. Now, in those 10 Commandments, it says that you can't do that. You don't do it unless it's preying on animals for food. You don't kill other humans, right? There's an argument about the terminology of kill. We've got manslaughter, poisoning, murder. There's about 1,800 words for it. The definition is no longer alive, right? Make dead. To make dead. To no longer be alive, right? So it's no longer living, right? Living, no longer living. Alive, dead, right? I think Russell Brand did a joke about that, didn't he? When Tucker Carlson was talking about hunting and shooting and like a dead bird on the floor, and Russell Brand's like, go, fly. That's an animal though. But, so this is the thing. So to want to change the law and to try and talk people into convince them to change the law, it's actually against the Jewish religion. Now, I've heard of having an opinion against something, but actually going and doing it is different. To have an opinion against the Ten Commandments is one thing, but to act blatantly against the rule, when there's only 10 of the rule, there's only 10 rules, right? If that ain't anti-Semitic, if that isn't anti-Jewish, I don't know what is on this planet from in the circumference of this world. in longitude and latitude on the surface of this planet, and below and beneath it, or above it in the sky, right, or orbiting around the sun, I cannot think of one thing that is more anti-Semitic than assisted freaking suicide, making it actual in law. But this is the thing. How could Starmer do that? Because he's privileged. You're allowed to change the law without being accountable for it because of a privilege of Parliament, inside and out. But that's what Corbyn did. Only having an opinion on it, not doing it. So that's why he's still an MP and why he's not prosecuted, because he's privileged. Starmer's privileged, but he seems to have double, triple privilege, because he's even protected from having the opinion of it. Having the opinion of, maybe I think I might make it illegal. But apparently Corbyn doesn't have the pre-privilege, the privileged of presumption of privilege. No, but never mind actually doing it. And this is the thing with this anti-Semitism. Now we get into this Sabbath thing. Because really, I mean, what Starmer's argument is going to be, right, and he'll want to debate this, right? Starmer's going to debate, right, with an opinion, like Corbyn debates. Corbyn debates his opinion, whether it is or is not right to debate. That is a debate in itself. So Starmer's going to debate, right, that, the Ten Commandments don't mean that. It's not what it says. If it did say that, then the thought wouldn't cross my mind. If that's what it said, I wouldn't even dream of it. But it doesn't say that, does it? It says thou shalt not help people die. Doesn't say that thou shalt give them a helping hand, or a helping capsule, or a helping tablet, or a helping drink, or, a helping push off the edge of a cliff, or talking them into it. No, it just says, it's just murder, blatant murder. This Crown Prosecution Service in court will argue, well, that's not murder, it's manslaughter. No, actually, no, it's poisoning. No, actually, no, it's assisted suicide. No, it's thou shalt not make things dead. I made a soup. Someone helped me. It's an assisted soup. Here's my assistant, Debbie McGee. Debbie McGee, my assistant, is going to make some soup with me. And then later, now we're going to make someone dead. I'm going to give them a help. In fact, this guy can't climb up the stairs. I'm going to help him get to the top. This guy can't get to the bottom. It's all right, I'll push you down. Like Laura Ashley, fall down the stairs. Oh, it's Laura Ashley. Do you think that she accidentally fell down the stairs, or do you think someone pushed her down, seeing that she had a fortune to be inherited by, the husband or whatever? This is the thing, where's my assistant? I can't quite climb up this ladder by myself. I need some help. I can't put my socks on. Where's my valet? I can't quite bend down to put my socks on. I need an assistant. This is the thing, thou shalt not wear socks. Thou shalt not make socked. This is the thing. So, coming back to this Sabbath thing, so John Major has done something in English law using privileges of Parliament, which is blatantly anti-Semitic, because he has ended and ceased the day of rest, for which it is quiet for everyone, not just quiet for the people who don't have to go to work on that day, but everyone else does, and therefore there's still noise, but it for everyone. It's almost like going onto the beach and, making it rain or something. Everyone on the beach gets wet, or, going up a mountain and melting all the snow. This is the thing, people on holiday, do you mind? I'm on my holiday skiing. This is the thing. So I don't think that back in the John Major days, though, we didn't actually have quite as many of these discrimination laws, weren't as fleshed out. There weren't as many of these Priti Patel quirky legislative fickles about, this or that, or SNP legislation, Mr. Shazaz's legislation from SNP party, that you cannot say what you want in your own house or whatever. So this is the thing. As John Major apologised, if Major's alive, which I still think he is, I think he does some kind of, he's involved in the Salvation Army, which is quite, don't you think that's insulting? I've just realised now, John Major, right, I think he's involved in the Salvation Army or something like that, or isn't he involved in cricket or something? He's gone working at a cricket club or something. I have to type it in. I've got this kipper on now. I'll just put in John Major retirement with this AI, which it's not even AI, it's Google search, but now they're wanting everyone to call it AI, so everyone just thinks that it's AI. It's always been AI. We just call it something different now. Major's resignation as Conservative leader formally took effect on 19th of June 1997 after the election of William Hague. Major's resignation honours were announced, blah, blah, blah. He remained active in Parliament, regularly attending and contributing to debates. He said, is John Major still married? Dame Norma Christina Elizabeth, Lady Major, DBE. Marriage is from which parent? I don't even... this is taking up too much time now. Post-parliamentary life. Since leaving office, Major has tended to maintain a low profile in the media, occasionally commentating on a political development in the role of an elder statesman. In 1999, he published an autobiography. This is racking up now, like Tony Blair, because Tony Blair's on the forfeiture committee list for war crimes and acting against the Great Charter. It turns out that Major likely has done as well now. Publishes autobiography. Major might have book. The start cricketer's early years. Major has further explored his love of cricket. Oh yeah, he's the president of Surrey County Cricket Club. So he didn't end up running the Salvation Army. I think that was just kind of like some idea that I got into my head because he's called John Major, and it's quite amusing to think of him as being in charge of the Salvation Army. He's not in charge of the Salvation Army. He's a patron of the prostate cancer charity, Diamond Jubilee Trust. He's attended various charities, but not the Salvation Army. It doesn't say anything about the Salvation Army, so he's not there to save us from salvation. So he's just into his cricket. It's like knock the bail off the cricket, innit? Like knock the Sunday off the day of rest, innit? Like, can he knock the bail off? Can he knock the Sunday off, John? Smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast. Can you knock this Sunday? Rack up the wickets, John. See if you can knock this Sunday, knock the day of rest off the top of the fucking wickets. That Jews knock the hat off the. See if you can knock the hat off the top of the Jew, John. See if you can chuck a cricket ball at the back of a Jew's head and knock his kipper off. See John Major. See, it's like Homer Simpson, isn't it? Knock it out with a court. See if John Major can, knock a Jewish. See if John Major can knock a Jew out with a cricket ball, like an overseas fast bowler on the back of the head, on the head, sand over here. Alas, poor Jehovah. That's. I don't even know if we can do these jokes anymore. I'm not offending anyone though. I'm not sticking up for the Jewish religion. I'm actually standing up for it, saying that these past prime ministers have basically they're the ones who are anti-Semitic. I'm just trying to humour it, to try and make the story a little bit more amusing. But some Major's in on it. I think it's I'm starting to think now, this whole Elizabeth repealing Magna Carta, when they carried on opening Parliament with it, with all the ancient rights and privilege, and then you've got Major, that is the most anti-Semitic thought you could ever have, right? He's not actually like Corbyn exploring the idea of it or debating it. He actually went and did it. This is like physically dismantling religion. But the thing is that, you're meant to go to church on a Sunday. Protestants go to church on a Sunday. It's not like, we just borrowed it. We can scrap that part. That's the Jewish part of it. We don't need that part, Just a minute. I thought all churches go on a Sunday, although, Muslim, Islam, don't they like pray every morning, not just on a Sunday. It's like every day of the week sort of thing, isn't it? Or they fit the prayers in at lunchtime. I remember at work we had some Islamic people who used to pray on their break time, get their mat out and face the right way, and even pray when they were at work. There's no peace in that though. When it's noisy, you got noisy machines going around them. Just, I'm praying to God. Well, as long as you're in the right direction, do you want me to turn this machine off and a little bit of peace of quiet while you pray? I'll have to ask Jeff. Oh, it's Jeff. Jeff and Mr. Bezos. Whoop, 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 whoop. Camera 64, loading bay 59, loading bay 59. Whoop, 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 whoop. This is Jeff Bezos, one of the staffs. Jeff, he's stopped working. He's just got his prayer mat out and he's facing the sun and praying. Send Android 759 to remove the workforce member 735. You're sacked. It's like Trump. You're fired. He's praying on duty. Oh no! Apparently they've got rights, workers' rights, religious rights at work. Wow. Religious rights in the workplace. You can wear your burqa at McDonald's. You can wear your burqa at McDonald's while you're working, as long as it's on a Sunday. We're welcome all religions here, because now on a Sunday we're open. Otherwise, we wouldn't welcome anyone on a Sunday because we're shut. Hey, it's McDonald's. We're open on a Sunday now. Come on in. Here's Ronald McDonald and here's Hamburglar. Oh, and here's John Major. He's just stolen your day of rest. Look, there's John Major getting a photograph next to Hamburglar. I've stolen your day of rest. This is it. I'm starting to wonder if this is some kind of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, this Starmer, John Major, Blair, what's actually going on here? All this, why make a fuss about it? Why make a fuss about it? Sir Keir Starmer, right, is now the leader of the Labour Party with a Jewish wife because of Jeremy Corbyn's opinions, not actions, opinions in matters of church, state and law under privileges of Parliament that are not favourable to Jews. Yet, Major dismantles the fucking religion and a half of ours, which is based around it, on a Sunday. Major actually starts to take it to pieces, physically dismantle it to bits, right? And then Blair, he's sending, armies over, God knows where, left, right and centre, blowing them up. After he's already violated our own laws and perverted the judicial oath, following Thatcher starting to dismantle, the dismantled judgment by your peers in the 1850s, burned all the petitions in Parliament down, and now, who are these people? How did they get into these positions? What are they on? It's saying that their role model is Queen Elizabeth II, who repealed half of the rights that can't be repealed, that they're still claiming they're opening the Parliament with them and using them. Yeah, it says on paper that they were repealed. I really don't actually... The thing is, you might say, well, but Starmer, when they were in Rochdale on that Rochdale by-election where George Galloway won and that independent guy came second, one of the Labour Party candidate, he just said something wrong and that was it. He was backed out. Starmer backed him down. But how could Starmer ignore that? How could Starmer disregard all this if you send an official complaint into the Labour Party? It seems to me that if they need a job doing, right, like Corbyn, if they need to remove Corbyn, they need to find the right tool for the job. And it just happened to be that, if you got the right tin opener, right, we could get Corbyn out with that anti-Semitism. How about that? He's got some strong views on the Jews. Let's push him out with that. Let's get the old anti-Semitism, tool out of the cabinet. And now, oh no, now the job's done. We can put it away now. Well, just a minute. Isn't Keir Starmer anti-Semitic? Keir Starmer's wife's Jewish. How would he be against the Jews? Well, he's just about to dismantle another one of the commandments. John Major's struck one of them off, and now Starmer's striking some more off. It's almost like the fucking cricket score, isn't it? It's like knocking wickets down. It's like fucking, he's tallying them up. I think that these prime ministers seem to be on a mission to strike out all 10 of the commandments, Ironically, what is Starmer's wife actually Jewish, or is she just pretending? Is it a publicity stunt like they're getting, Chanel underwear donated or whatever it is, Gucci fashion things donated, my wife's, would you like to declare what religion you are? Let's see, Irishman, Scottishman, Englishman. I'll be Jewish today. That'll help get Jeremy Corbyn out of Parliament, out of the Prime Minister's spot. It's almost like gender bending, isn't it? What sex are you, male or female? I'm not sure. I can identify as whatever I want. Depending what job's on the agenda. Oh, just a minute. Isn't striking out the Ten Commandments anti-Semitic by any chance? Well, yeah, not anymore because obviously, I'm meant to be, Corbyn could have probably done a better job. If Corbyn was that bad, if Corbyn was that anti-Jewish, you'd have thought they'd have done a better job than Starmer and striking the Ten Commandments out, wouldn't you? I mean, Major's already struck out, half of them, and now, they got Starmer's about to strike another one out. If Corbyn was that bad, he could have probably done a better job than Starmer. He could have probably struck about 6 or 7 of them out in one go. This is the thing. And then some of the Lib Dems are wanting to eradicate the Protestant faith from Parliament. Not that there's not much of it left now that he's multicultural. Even though it's entrenched in British law, by the time Priti Patel's finished with it, we'll replace Parliament with a Taj Mahal. This is the thing. Someone needs to actually look at what the fuck they're doing, this is the problem. Major, that is, he probably, it might even be against Magna Carta, the Great Charter, because it's, ancient rights and customs, ancient customs. I would have thought that Sunday being the day of rest, I would have thought that would qualify as an ancient custom. Therefore, under Magna Carta, the ancient customs of England, I would have thought that you don't work on a Sunday, or definitely not if you don't want to. So that I would have thought that that's another offence against the Great Charter, because if the main religion, even when we were under even when we had kings who were Catholic, this is like another argument with Ireland as well. But there are things which are synonymous with all the Christian faiths. There are a number of things which they don't argue about. like, going to church on a Sunday. There's no Protestant or Catholic or argument, I don't think, about what day you go to the church, for sure. So that definitely is an ancient custom, at least since, Constantine converted to Christianity. Maybe not before then, but, we've had various different invasions, and we didn't even have, we did actually have a national religion, but no one knows what it was called. At that time, though, we had loads of different kings, but one religion. Now we've got one king, but loads of different religions, which they want to come in, and hopefully they're planning to not end with any except the religion of the policy of Jeff. Jeff Bezos's Amazon policy is going to be the only faith that anyone has anything in, or the parcels would turn up at 46 seconds, 15 minutes past 1, or whatever on the fucking GPS. This is the thing, so these prime ministers, when you look at it, have actually been they've been dismantling these religions. And I don't really know what the Archbishop of Canterbury, who apparently is an I didn't even know until Extinction Rebellion, I read from Extinction Rebellion that Justin Welby used to be in the BP or Shell Oil or something, and apparently he repented and became a priest, but he's called Justin Welby, and that's what they do when they're digging for oil, dig oil wells. So, is he an insider? Is he like a corporate insider posing as the High Priest of England? What happened to, what happened to Rowan Williams? He seems to be all for this Extinction Rebellion, just up oil kind of thing. So this is the thing with these people. It's like a scene from Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, here's your 50 bag of golds, for on your way down to hell. When he's at the top of the tower and he's, packing coins upon the priest, and then he accidentally falls out the window. Keir Starmer would be going, "Oh, that's assisted suicide. That's not murder." It's like Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves is like, here's 50 pieces of gold, to pay the ferryman on your way to hell, or whatever. It's like you push, oh no, he didn't, he's just put another 2 gold pieces in his bag, it's a little bit too much there, it's overweight, There you go. No, I didn't kill him. That wasn't manslaughter or murder or poisoning. It was assisted suicide. This is the thing with these people. If they're doing it, it's privileges. Well, yeah, it's against the religious faith, but I've got real privileges of Parliament. I can do it. Well, according to Magna Carta, you haven't done it. You never did do it, did you? What you've been doing is slave driving us all every Sunday. Since 1994 or whenever. So, it's okay. We've give you we've give you a furlough. We've done you a favour. You had 6 months off. You had a 6 months long holiday. I would have thought so, since we've had, how many Sundays since 1994 ripped off us. This is the thing. I bet we didn't get I bet no one on furlough got the amount of money that people have, been forced to work for since 1994 on a Sunday. That's for sure. But I bet they've raked it all in at the cinemas, and all the sugar foods, Ben and Jerry's ice creams and so forth. But anyway, so that's pretty much it. Looking at Major, that's a major anti-Semitic thing now. If you think, right, just imagine if Major hadn't managed to have done that, right? If Major hadn't have managed to have pulled that off, right? And can you just imagine now if Keir Starmer came out with, we're going to have to make you work on Sundays. It's not the holy day of rest anymore, and it's not going to be quiet either. Even though we can't make it completely quiet because people have got to drive past you in their motor cars to get to the seaside, but generally quieter, at least somewhat silent, to the best of our ability, if that was anti-Semitic, it's, what would his excuse be for that? assisted suicide is not really thou shalt not kill, is it? Well, what about working on a Sunday? Well, the Sabbath, it's not really resting, is it? If you're going to the seaside, it's not the day, no one's really resting anymore, so what's the point? They're mowing their lawns. It's like on Point Break. You can't hear anything over the radio. There's a lawnmower on. It's a Sunday. You'd have thought that Major would have gone the other way, wouldn't you? You'd have thought that he'd have brought a law in so that you're not allowed to mow the lawn on a Sunday. You'll have to do it on like a Tuesday evening or something like that. Because it's too noisy, or whatever. You're not allowed to, you can water your plants, you can put the garden hose on, or you can, plant some flowers or whatever, but no lawnmowers or whatever on Sunday. It says, remember the Sabbath day to sanctify it. 6 days thou shalt labour. Cutting your grass surely is labour, isn't it? Oh, it's got the Labour Party name in it, hasn't it? It's got the word for the Labour Party actually in the commandments. Remember the Sabbath day to sanctify it. 6 days thou dost labour. Labour. 6 days thou must work the work party. Labour. Well, it's called labour. So 1 day is not late for labour. 1 day is not for labour, which means that you shouldn't even really have to mow your lawn, or your wife shouldn't make you mow your lawn. And hast done all thy work, the 7th day is a Sabbath to God. Thou dost not do any work. Thou and thy son and thy daughter, thy manservant and handmaid, and thy cattle, who's within my gates. So that's even like farming as well, and servants, having servants, like, if you go to McDonald's, even maybe someone driving you to the seaside, because if he's a coach driver, he's public servant, isn't he? He's driving you to the seaside, taking this literally, but that's it. Probably no wonder they wanted to scrap this entire religion and get rid of it, because they wouldn't even be able to do corporate business at all on a Sunday or anything. So, looking at Major's photograph now, the Right Honourable Sir John Major, KCCH, I don't think that these people like having to stringently comply with these religions. And I think this is the point, right? When you get people like, these Muslims and Islam coming into the country, they've got very strong beliefs and customs and rituals that they want to adhere to, and they're wanting us to accept these and welcome them and not discriminate against them. But it seems to me that some of these are across all religions. You would have thought that it fit well with multiple religions, particularly to say that half the Christian ones, if not every single one of them, have Sunday for a day of rest. That would fit well with the Jewish Sunday, wouldn't you? You'd have thought. I think that I'm starting to think now when I'm looking at it, this is the argument. We're looking at it, and what happens is what you're doing is you are debating it. You're saying, oh, it doesn't mean, this and that. It doesn't include assisted suicide. It doesn't include this. It doesn't include that. Well, what you're doing is you're diluting it and watering it down. That's what you're doing. And this is the same for this Sunday, you have to cut your lawn, is that really labour? You're doing it for yourself, doing it for charity, what you're doing is you're debating and arguing, what it actually extends to and means or not. Although, apparently these religions, it's not, well, this is why they had petitions, matters of church, state and law. This is why they actually petitioned Parliament. This is why we've got the right to petition, because people were getting, for religious views, John Beswick and Henry Burton, This is why John Beswick and Henry Burton got the ears chopped off. People have actually had their bodies mutilated, and we're not talking about, Middle East, with women's vaginas. We're talking about grown English men, supposedly mature men, with philosophical religious views like Jeremy Corbyn, and they cut their ears off and send them to prison. This is like using the right to petition to get people freed from custody, from custodial sentences. Their wives would petition, John Pym to get them out of prison, But yet we don't seem to have moved on. They're still expelling Corbyn from his party, even though they haven't cut his ears off yet, for his religious views and opinions. And Starmer's like, super strict. This is the thing. Starmer, even though Jeremy Corbyn's privileged, Starmer is like being really strict with the rules. Now, Mr. Starmer, I'm sorry, Jeremy, you've offended my Jewish friends, mainly and particularly my wife, and you'll have to clock out now. I can't remove you from being an MP because that's up to the vote of the electors, but you've been a very naughty man, and you're not allowed to be the leader anymore. And I don't want to talk to you. That's it. It's over, right? But for me, this rule does not apply because I'm about to dismantle where John and Tony started taking the screws and bolts out of the actual religion of these people. We need to scrap the whole thing. But I was only talking about their religion and having views on it, Kier, and you threw me out of the party. You're actually fucking dismantling the fucking thing. Well, that's for me to know and you to find out, isn't it? Because I am a league of extraordinary gentlemen. Tony Blair, John Major, Keir Starmer. Queen Elizabeth II wasn't a man, but she was sure extraordinary with that repeal of the Magna Carta in 1967 of the Criminal Law Act when they're still using it to open Parliament. See, Jeremy, there's those who can and those who can't. You can't, Jeremy. No, but Queen Elizabeth can, and so can I, because I'm a league of extraordinary gentlemen of the Order of the Bath. And besides, Philip said you'll never be Prime Minister of England, ever. And I've got to keep his will, because otherwise he'll stand on my foot.